Okay, hello and welcome to Promethean Podcast. Jonathan Giesbrecht. We have known each other for a little bit, and your journey, I'll let you talk about that a little bit more, but um, just a little bit of background from the audience. We met through Promethean, right? Through
That's right.
Promethean Group. So maybe we'll start there, maybe give them a little bit of background to who you are, what you do a little bit, and what you what you think of men's work, bro. Let's start there.
Yeah, so I was kind of, struggling a bit during COVID, and I was in Regina and basically I felt like I was just kind of isolated. I had my girlfriend, I had my team that I was working with, but I didn't have strong men that I was consistently connecting with. So pretty much I had somebody that gave me Jordan's information and we got connected that way. And then from there, he suggested that I join the men's group, and that's how we know each other now. And
And
that's
how
been
long, how long, John, did you see Jordan?
I saw Jordan and I was connecting with him probably at least a couple months before I got in the men's
Did
group.
you?
Yeah, yeah,
That's such a similar story because I mean that's like almost virtually the same as for me,
yeah.
really. I was having a lot of trouble before I saw Jordan, and I was at that point where I was like, "Hey, ooh, it's time to go talk to somebody, right?"
Yeah.
So, what when you were suggested that, when you thought like you need a men's group, what did you think about that the first time, and tell us a little bit about that introduction.
Man, I'm all for it. Like I think it's essential. Whether it's a men's group or you have just a group of men outside of an actual men's group that you see and you connect with. Because I think the one thing that I was really struggling with was I was just around women. Like I was coaching women. I was
Uh-huh.
around my girlfriend, the only real person I was seeing. And then, my masculinity was suffering, because wasn't in touch with that. And then I think that ultimately affected my relationship with my ex-girlfriend now, but just missing that sense of polarity, because I was, not balanced in how I was approaching my relationships in the world. So I just felt like it was essential. And I think, getting to work with you guys, I think it was like a year and a half, really got me back on track and focused on what I needed to do.
For sure, bro. um, Thanks for sharing that. Ah, lots that we could extract there, but you mentioned something super important that I'd like to that resonates deeply. It's the idea of let's talk in terms of energies, okay, or personalities, however you want to refer to it. But the differences in energies between men and women when you interact with women,
Mm.
what kind of energies could you describe? What kind of energies were you getting? What did you enjoy about that? What makes you be around women? I mean, seems like a pretty straightforward question, but you'd be surprised, right? Some guys are just like, I don't know. I guess I think because I have to. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So again, number one, what is it about that feminine energy, right? That was was suffering, which element of that was suffering that you needed in men, right? Because you said in men, that's what helped you kind of get your equilibrium back. And then, we were talking a little bit about your your different mentality in dating now.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of convoluted there, but does that make sense a little?
Yeah, yeah. I'd say the thing that I really appreciate about just feminine energy is just the playfulness, the emotion, the chaos.
Unpredictability.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful thing. It's just, sometimes, man, if that's all you got, I felt like I was lost in the sauce a little bit, and I needed to reel myself back in through structure, through logic, through really what's the word for it? Just being a little bit more direct in how I was having conversations and asking myself some tough questions. And for me,
Yeah,
I've just really found most comfortable doing that, within a men's group. That's just been for me where I can be most vulnerable and really put myself
absolutely.
and have some of these tough conversations with myself and others.
Absolutely, man. That's a huge not even just a confession, because like I think men are saying this all the time. It's like, listen, I need women for this and I need men for this. And I think that's totally okay. The conversation that you're going to have with your woman is going to be different than the conversation you have with me, right? And a lot of women, I think they want a lot of open disclosure. But I hope that they understand that our nature is different, right? Our nature is not so much, you know, open in vulnerability and sharing of everything. Once in a while, I also need somebody just to call me out, right? I need somebody to challenge me. Actually, in fact, I need that so bad in my life. I need to be challenged, and I need to be I need to know that I'm what I'm doing, and what the outcome is going to be, at the end of it. Um, it's just a more direct approach, perhaps. There's security, there's safety in that abrupt and action oriented energy, right? I just feel at home there. I don't know, maybe because I'm a guy. You know what I mean? And around women, I mean, I think all men can agree that when you put a woman in the picture, it just changes the energy, changes the dynamic, right? It's very different than being around men. Can you think of an example of a time that, you tried to talk to a woman and it just like, this just isn't working. Like, I need to talk to a dude about this, right?
Yeah. Hmm. Let me take a second. I
Not
feel
at all. Yeah, for sure, bro.
hmm, specific example. I mean, I would say the biggest thing I found is with women like that I'm dating, or even my mom. Sometimes I feel she wants to lean into my strength. My mom, girlfriend, whoever, and you know, there was a time where I was really seeking approval from
Yeah,
from mom, especially about what I was doing with my life, and kind of asking. I'd say it like, this is what I'm thinking about, but really what I was doing was asking for her if she was okay with it.
right.
What I've done now is pretty much anytime, I'm really, scheming or just, planning this vision and trying to make sense of it. Uh, I go to the men that I have in my life for them to check me and challenge me, like you mentioned.
Totally.
And, you know, I've just found that, yeah, women that I'm dating, that I'm seeing, they want me to be confident in my decision making. And if I'm having a discussion about it with them and asking for, what they think about it, uh, from what I've experienced, that's been, showing weakness in a way. So I want to be, my partner. I want them to feel like I'm their rock, and they can lean on me. So it's just like you mentioned, it's the role that you want to play, and maybe again, if you want to have those kind of conversations, and that's how you want to how to do it in your relationship, that's cool. But what I've noticed, uh, for me, that I just need to have those conversations about my vision and what's ahead with strong men.
I agree, man. Oh, I agree so much. I think I think it's a mistake for men to be open about certain things with their women. I think most women just naturally want. I think bottom line is like they're naturally nosy, and they just kind of want to know about things. It's gossiping is something that comes naturally for them. And I think it's just because they're social creatures more so than men are, right? It's just, I think, part of their element. But it's also annoying. It's also disturbing sometimes. Like, I don't want to be around that energy, right? I want to be around an energy that's calming, like a crackling fire. You know what I mean? I want to be around a voice that's actually not going 100 miles an hour and trying to, puke everything on me. Somebody who slows everything right down, right? And for me personally, brother, that's the message I want to send to women, like if you want men to open up, and you can judge this, you can give your perspective too. If I want a woman to open up, she's gonna need to slow the fuck down, right?
Mhm.
She's gonna need to just really slow her vibrations to where I can match them. Where
Mhm.
it's normally it's like, man, match the woman, match the woman. No, 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 no. Hold on. Calm down here and just calm the fuck down for a moment. Then I can give you my full and undivided attention. And that's what she wants, right? She wants daddy's love and attention. That's bottom line what she wants, right? But the tricky thing about that is then that's putting her in her masculine state, right? And we don't want to do that. What we want to do is we want her to be ever changing, perpetual motion, always bringing in new things, new smells, new looks, always not sure and looking to you for advice and leadership, right? And in order for that to happen, you need to be in your masculine, right? And you got to get that from men. You can't do that being constantly around women, which I get that. A lot of guys who are listening to this, we seek the approval. We've all been there, right? We've all been there. It's the same with us. So we just want mom's love and affection. For sure, bro. 100%. Nothing wrong with this. We just gotta know it and be real with each other, right? Bro, you got me ranting, Holmes. Anyway, tell me what you think about that, right? Is that what you meant?
Yeah, I would say it's to me, if I consistently show up and I know what I want to do and I have a vision and I just work and I take action on it, uh, to me, what I think happens is, my partner, the woman that I'm with, she sees that and she can really trust that and she knows
Right.
what she can get out of me. Going back to what we were saying just about those conversations, if I'm going to her and I'm asking and I'm not sure about things, what am I really communicating to her? Am I
Exactly.
communicating that I am that strong masculine person, that I can be a leader? And obviously there's times where, you're going to have conversations, especially if she's involved. Um, but she's got a sense that you're strong and that you know what you want to do, and you're going to do whatever it takes to get to that point.
Hmm. I mean, I think even dude, like even listening to you, even dudes find that attractive. Like when you hear like why do we look for mentors and men who, that resonate with us, right? Because they have a certain sense maybe of passion, of direction and leadership. Well, if that's for us, if that's a big deal, I mean, I'm thinking about it and I'm like, if I'm in charge of making people, yeah, that's going to be a huge deal for me, right? So, yeah, I think it makes sense, all the sense. Tell me a little bit now. You and we've talked a little bit about this in the past about a lot of the men that we talk to are, in relationships or have been married, right, for a number of years, and some very happy, very successful relationships. But we've been in the dating game for a minute, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me what it's been like for you. Give me your perspective on like, post and pre-COVID, maybe, Nobody really likes to talk about that, but I mean it's something to talk about.
Yeah, I think with the profession that I'm in, so for your listeners, I'm a professional basketball coach. I was at the University of Regina, and then I moved to Italy to coach professional basketball,
Mm.
second division, but also with this prep team. The prep team was my main focus. And, you know, I've always had like this thing in my mind, with COVID and everything else, like kind of making excuses sometimes and looking for wiggle room, like, oh, I'm a professional coach. I can't be somewhere consistently. So,
Mm,
I'm shutting down these possibilities of really, finding somebody that could potentially be a long-term partner, and just kind of being set on, short-term relationships. Because most of, my dating, what I've experienced is I've been with a girl and I've had to break it off because of, an opportunity, a basketball opportunity to move around.
right.
It's kind of the nature of the beast. Um, but now I think my perspective is changing, and I'm not really leaning into that wiggle room as much. I'm just kind of allowing things to happen. So it's
Mm,
even, when I walk around, even though I'm focused and I have a vision and there's so much stuff on my plate right now, there's still opportunities every single day to be social and to communicate with people. And so my approach with dating has now been, you know, everybody I meet is an opportunity, not even just from a dating perspective, but just, going to the grocery mart and meeting a friend or whatever,
sure.
just vibing and having a conversation. So um, that's been like the big shift for me, is getting out of this mindset that because I'm in basketball and because of my job, it's going to be really tough. It's like, yo, just drop that. That's what it is,
Yeah,
and obviously coaching is important to me, but um, you just have to be open, man, open to the universe and allow things to
totally.
happen.
Yeah, totally. There's something to be said about, flowing. That's something that I'm learning too, right? Like I used to live a very routine, rigid, predictable life, and that's what I thrived off of, and then the world suddenly became very unpredictable and very uncertain, like right quick. So you gotta adapt, right? If you don't adapt, then you're gonna be swept up, right? So you learn to adapt and that's I think that's just the way of the world now. And in the times that we live, I think people who can adapt quicker and who can flow smoother will stand out, right? They will definitely be seen. Tell me a little bit about what it's like taking the girl out. Where are you? Like you're still in Canada right now, right?
Yeah, yeah, in Winnipeg.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
Winnipeg. Tell me a little bit about that, bro.
like just my process for like when I take someone on a date.
I mean, you don't have to give us details, but
Yeah,
tell us maybe what the game is like over there, and what the scene is like, how it's changing.
yeah, yeah. So I kind of approach it as I've described it. I used to be like pretty systematic, like
Yeah.
these are my spots. I'm gonna go to these spots because I'm pretty comfortable. But now I'm leaning more into spontaneity and just, there's a place that I'm interested in and I've never been there before,
Hmm.
even though it may not be the best like setting. Like I went on a date yesterday and we went to like this little bakery, and it was pretty loud and it was pretty like compact, and it didn't really give you an opportunity to move around and uh, you know, engage in any kind of physical contact, like just connect in a different way. Because for me, I'm definitely somebody that likes to move around.
Hmm.
If I
Me
sit
too.
if I sit in a bakery or cafe, I just get like ADHD. Um, so yeah, like I think the biggest thing for me is just trying different places and really learning to think on my feet rather than always leaning into this system, like this
Yeah.
process of A, B, C, D,
Hmm.
to get the outcome. And that's the other, shift I've made, is instead of having like this taker energy, like I need to get something out of this, it's more like, you know, let's just have a good time. Let's, can I make her laugh a bit, and she can really appreciate the time she has with me for however
Hmm.
long we're going to be, connecting for.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I've had to surrender. And that's been a big part of my shift and new process.
Yeah, man, that resonates with me totally. For me, it's my a lot of the way I do things is Like if I really, really want something, like if there's something I want, I immediately make up my mind, and then that's it. No other substitutions, no other exceptions, no compromises. But that's only when I really make up my mind, right? And then boom, that's it. Lately though, and especially in relationships and in that realm, um, yeah, dropping the no expectations, dropping the let's just kind of see what happens, no attachments. I don't mean sexually, right? I'm just, energetically at all, because it's energetic for me, right? Like it's interesting to me, brother, how, have you ever met anybody, even like you, even like with Cho ass, like we've known each other probably a year, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A little bit more. And with some people, you just kind of like, them, you talk with them, and it's like, that's it. You don't have to put on a mask. You don't have to say nothing. It's just like, that's it. Conversation starts and that's it. It's done.
Mhm.
And the thing that with me, with that, I'm comfortable with. I like that trust. I like that establishing that off the hop. And then I think to myself, why is it that with some people, you put in effort, tooth and nail, and you can never have the same type of connection or relationship, right? It's because that relationship's not supposed to be that way, right? That's what I had a hard time with, right? I didn't have to be friends with everybody. I didn't have to be everybody's rescuer or, leader or coach. Do you know what I mean? That's what I had to drop. And especially in relationships, um, I find that when I'm to speak more on what you were saying, I think it's more for me, it's when I'm speaking passionately about something, about men's work, about cannabis, about other things that I kind of have going on, even about, just men and masculinity in general. I just am passionate, and it just kind of comes out of me. It pours out of me. And that's what's attractive. I don't have to try then. I don't have to put on a front. And that's what I like. That's what I've been trying to embrace more of. Do you know what I mean?
100%, brother. I love
Mm-hmm.
that, man. Just and that's the other thing I've been playing around with is I'm only deciding, like, I've made a decision. I'm only going to connect with people that are receptive.
Oh,
Like
true.
I'm not gonna force it on anybody. If I'm feeling like, I remember, I think it was Mark Manson. He says like, if it's not like fuck yes energy, like they really want to do this,
Yeah.
you really have to back off, and just allow things to develop. And maybe it changes for that person, and then they open up. But they have to decide to open up on their own time. You're
Mm-hmm.
not force it and just really, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is I've stopped forcing people. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm glad you said that, because that used to still actually that used to bring me a lot of unhappiness, because I was always that person that's like, okay, I gotta get this right. I'm the one that's being counted on. I was the point guard, bro. I had a lot of pressure, but I thrived on it, right? I had the third eye. I knew everything that was going on. I had to know the lay of the land. And if I didn't, then that meant bad things for people, right? But as you can see, I'm not in war. I don't, there's no tiger trying to eat me. I don't have to put that much pressure on myself. I don't know where that comes from, but it's there. So, just kind of being, it's, it's difficult for me. It's a skill that I'm developing, but developing that happy go lucky is, like I said, it's a skill, but it's one that has been helpful, helpful, especially as you mentioned in, having the courage to kind of cut off certain people, slowly wean off other people. And actually, that brings us back to men's work and men's groups. How honestly, I don't think I couldn't have done that without seeing other men be vulnerable in a masculine way, and being called out and challenged in a masculine way, right? Because when for me, when we do that in our groups, the man is like, huh, in a way, he's kind of being a letdown, right? He's like, I'm actually not being 100%, right? You've been there, to be called out. It's just like, damn, like, okay, these guys got their eye on me. They're not fucking around, like if I slip up, I gotta be on it, and where do you get that experience? Brotherhood, military, hunting type of brotherhood, that campfire, you know what I'm saying? So speak on that a little bit, because that's what helped me, so tell me what it was about group that helped you, maybe in your business life and also in your relationships.
I think the other place too is, and you know this, in sport, getting to really connect with men. And I I played high school basketball, but after high school I stopped playing and I got right into coaching. And when I came to do men's work group, it kind of opened me back up to that. I was like, man, I've been missing this, missing this connection.
What was
Uh,
it that did that for you? Do you remember what it was?
like to come back to men's, just
No,
like,
no, to like, what was it that opened you up that you were missing that element of yourself?
I think it's just what you've said a few times, just having to put this mask on for people, and
Mm.
just hanging out and just being super present. And I don't know, man, it's hard to describe, but just connecting and really being honest and putting yourself out there. And I don't know, it's just it's a different thing,
Mhm.
being in that men's group space.
Totally, it is. It is. What's an experience that you remember? Do you miss it a bit or?
Yeah, I definitely miss it, man. It's like miss being with you guys. It's if there's like a specific thing, like I don't know if there's like a specific moment, but it's more like just a thing that would show up. Like a lot of times I'd be just tired, man. I'd be like,
Mhm.
yo, I don't know if I want to do this. And I'd get an email from you and I look at it, I'm just like, shit, he wants us to do like, and it would be because you're
Quests, bro,
challenging us.
quests.
Yeah, you're challenging us in the email. I'm just like, yo, I can do this, bro. I'm just like not in it. Like I'm just not ready for this. And then, I'd get in the call, we'd go through it, do check-ins. And then after, like as we're doing kind of a checkout, I'm just like, yo, I'm so happy I came.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
yo, I totally needed this. And it's a weird thing because you just get caught in your routines and your work and you just forget. You forget how powerful it can be to really connect with other men. So it's a consistency thing for me. So I've been out of the men's group stuff for a bit, with you guys, but I've really challenged myself to do other things. Like I've been getting
Mm.
into jujitsu.
Nice,
Uh,
bro.
a lot of like dudes there that I connect with, and that's kind of been giving me that opportunity to get grounded in that specific way.
Well, that's awesome, man. That's awesome to hear because, that's really what Promethean is about, bro. Like a lot of guys, they go there and, a lot of guys come and go, and that's fine. It's totally a timing thing. But what's awesome is you went to men's group, it did something for you, and now you're out there, you're an initiated Promethean, man. And you know what it's like and how important it is to have that type of energy, right? And maybe starting that type of energy wherever it is that that it is that you go. And you mentioned something, and I want to give people a bit of an inside scoop. We'll give people an inside scoop on men's group. um and as a facilitator, all facilitators are different, right? So we have different methods, different techniques that we went over with Jordan, um to help in the process of helping men open up. So for me, in the way that brings out my authenticity is challenges, quests. Um, I challenge men. It's like you're up. Why is it that you know we get pumped up when we see movies like 300? When we see movies like Braveheart, like Gladiator, Kingdom of Heaven. Like why are these important movies to men? This isn't a joke. This isn't something that's just like something you just scoff off. It's like, no, man, these are powerfully motivated themes. Why is that? And what is that, that theme? And that's kind of what I'm speaking on, right? Is um like you said, it's difficult to describe, and it's like a fire. And there's something too about, even when I would challenge with the quests, not a lot of men wouldn't even do the quest, right? And that wasn't the point. The point is that the man gets challenged. That was my point, right? Is to challenge the man, to give him the opportunity to raise to the challenge, right? Because when he shows up, bro, when a man shows up a group, I know who's done the challenge and I know who hasn't. And not because they haven't showed up, because I just know that, right? That lets me know the man's energy, right? That lets me know, dude, what happened this week, right? What you've been through, what's going on. And you know what I mean? And then one man opens up and then another man opens up and then blah, blah, blah. And then as a facilitator, I need to initiate that. I need to lead that, right? Another really cool element, I think, is even with someone like you, you're not somebody that's very aggressive in the way that you speak. You just kind of lay back and you'd say two or three words that are powerful that people remember, and then, you just kind of show up next time, just like that, right? Like he's the same thing. He likes to pay attention and observe and he soaks it in, right? Yeah, he's the same way. He's like, actually, I need to hear the things that some of these men are talking about because I take that into my work, because he has a workspace when it's like him and 12 women. You know what I mean? And then he's spends time with his girlfriend a lot. He's taking care of his mom who has health issues. So he's around women a lot. So in men's group, that's the opportunity for him to soak in some masculine energy, right? Which is which is huge. Like men need to be replenished in that sense as well. I feel strong when I'm around strong men. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's a big deal. So I remember a lot of instances too where where here's another element too. When's the last time you cried, bro?
Oh man. Last time I cried.
Yeah,
Uh, Man, I couldn't even, I don't even like within 12 months. I can't tell you like
that's not bad though. That's not like if you can narrow it down to about 12 months,
yeah.
I would say you're on the right pace. You're on the right track. And I'm sure you've probably seen me for sure, Jordan, who else? Paul, probably. Like we break down, right? We're not shy about it's not a matter of breakdown. It's what is it that the man has that's so damn heavy that even getting rid of it is hard, right? Even
Yeah.
getting rid of it is hard. Like you want to, you're just like, fuck, like, and I don't know what to say. Like, I need to talk to my man or I need to bring this up. And I'm sure sometimes you've sensed that agitation, and I want people to know that that happens as well. Right? These are very transformative times when men can be very, even when Jordan, the founder of this platform, really, um, when he was talking about how his wife died, right? Like that was a very vulnerable time, right? Um, so a lot can happen in men's group. Tell me a little bit about in the beginning, you were talking about the energy, maybe the what was it that you weren't getting uh, from men that helped you in talking with in your relationships with women, like in general or maybe
I
specifically.
feel like it's the honesty, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
just before I did men's group with you guys and even met with Jordan, when I was going through my breakup, there was one guy I met and we were doing like these like rapé ceremonies in Moose Jaw. It was pretty interesting. And we connected and we went out and we just were going for a walk and having conversations. And I think that was like the first moment where I realized how much I was missing it. Just having a
Mm-hmm.
one-on-one conversation that was a little bit deeper than, your everyday small talk, you
Aha,
know.
okay. I want you to continue, bro, but this is huge. Okay, so and I want to highlight this that a lot of conversations that we have in men's group, they're very introspective, they're very defining, they're very deep. And a lot
Mhm.
of conversations, and you can attest to this, but in my experience, when I conversate with women, it's very superficial, it's very surface level, right? And sometimes it's good to have a little chat at the grocery store, but with my intimate partner, like I don't want to know about the latest gossip. I don't want to know about, who talked shit to you at that time or what the person was wearing. You know what I mean? Like those to me are very superficial levels conversations. With men, it's a conversation that we're having now, right? What's beneath that and what's beneath that, right? And is that more the conversation that you're talking about? Okay, so back at her, a little interruption there, but um, switching gears a bit, switching energies just a little bit. Talk to us a little bit about your work, man, as a coach, because that's right up my alley. I mean, I played ball since, I was snot in the nose. Um, love the coaching too aspect. If I could be anything, man, when I grew up, it'd be a coach of something. Fuck, I'd love to get into coaching ball now. Like, like one thing I would love to do is like coach like a high school team. Oh,
Yeah.
bro. I
Yeah.
would think,
Yeah, why not, man? You can do it. Why
I would
not?
love that, bro. You know how badly I would train these kids? Oh man. I would teach them all the old school moves. I would teach them nothing modern. It would be
But
totally
the
old school.
crazy thing is, you know what the crazy thing about it though?
What is that?
If you did it, like you'd also come from a very like holistic approach. Like you would really
Oh, me,
mold
you mean? Yeah.
mold minds,
Totally.
bro. It wouldn't like you
You're
give them
totally
so
right.
much. You give them so much more than just basketball training.
hmm And that's a good call out. And I appreciate that because you're right. I would first instill a philosophy, right? That's the first thing I would still in the fool. I would still in philosophy and into like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Are you doing this for passion? Are you doing this to pick up chicks? Are you doing this to not be fat anymore? What are you doing this for? I'd put the dude in like, 14, 15 years old because when I did this, I was like, man, the year before I went to Belfort Collegiate in Regina, the summer before that, man, you can ask anybody in my family. I would get up at like 7 a.m., man. And I would probably train first. I'll tell you exactly what do Pete Maravich passing, then Pete Maravich basketball drills. After that, defense outside. And then I would have breakfast and I would go play pickup immediately right away. And I had this animalistic mentality that was like, if I don't train every fucking day, if I miss one day, if I lose one game here against a shitty player, when I try out for basketball in grade 9, I'm not gonna make it. And Belford's hella pressure, man. Hella
Mhm.
pressure. I trained for 2 fucking years just to go to Belfort, right? And at the time, you know how it's like being in the game, right? People try to recruit you, go to this school, whatever. And nobody from Belfort came. Nobody from Belfort came. So I knew number one, my brother went there. And he tried out for Belfort and he didn't make it. So,
Right.
and he was good back in the day. Like he was an animal back in the day. So I had a lot of pressure on me, right? So I knew why I was there, and I had that. First of all, anyway, you're right. I'd still that mentality in them. And then, man, I'd put them to work. Fundamentals, 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 bro. I'd make their parents sign a disclaimer like these kids are now my kids for the next 3 months. They're my kids too, right? That's how much I would be involved, right? Anyway, I would love that, bro. Tell me a little bit about like, why do you do it, bro? Why do you love it? You must love it to death.
I mean, it's been an interesting shift. I was really like I started coaching when I was like 14 years old.
That's young, bro. Like
Yeah, super
crazy.
young. And it was a weird thing because I really enjoyed like this sounds weird, but I really enjoyed just like the power and the authority of it. Like just
Totally. Yeah.
this is my team.
The
This is
leadership,
what I'm gonna do 100%. And that's why I really stayed with it. And then basically, through my early 20s, I guess my late teens too, I was just trying to get my hands on as much basketball as I could because back then, like if you go on Instagram nowadays, like there's so much content that you can consume. But
Mhm.
when I was just getting involved, it was, you go on the internet, you go on basketball forums, you're having like these conversations. And then I learned that you could like get DVDs. like instructional basketball DVDs. So I was literally like just trading, dude, like going to Basketball Manitoba and just getting
Like
every DVD
IQ,
they had.
but like ball IQ, you were
Yeah,
getting
like
it.
ball handling drills or passing drills. Um, how you teach a game, how you become a better leader, all that stuff. And so I got my collection up to like 400 DVDs or something like that.
Yeah.
And like
That's a lot. I didn't have that many.
it was sick. I was like skipping class and just staying like home and just like watching DVDs. It was insane. So anyway, I did that, and then when I started like become a university coach, and I was working with the guys, like when I first started University of Manitoba, University of Winnipeg, man, I just like felt there was technical tactical stuff was always something I just really enjoyed, and I got passionate about teaching the game. But man, I just thought there was something missing. Like these athletes, like especially the ones that were graduating, were having like identity crises. Like they were so lost. And I was wondering to myself, I'm like, man, can we just do a better job, preparing people for what happens after the game, after basketball? So like I had that like early idea, and then it kind of when I got into women's coaching, I was at University of Regina. Again, we were one of the best programs in the country, or they are now. And it was the same kind of thing, like technical, tactical stuff, super tight, really good. But then I have these girls that just have, insecurities and feel like they don't have the tools to be empowered in how they approach the game. I go to Italy, the same kind of thing. And I'm just like, man, like I I enjoy teaching the game. I still do it and I learn and I watch video. But I said, man, I want to make a shift with this. So I started to get into mindfulness and spirituality, and I wondered if I could reverse engineer it for the kids. Like this is just another way of looking at the game so that you can really enjoy the game. You can really appreciate this experience while you have it, and then make a shift when you need to make a shift. So basically what it's called now is play free basketball. That's the idea. Can you zoom out and can you play free? Can you just really play the game, play to your strengths, and do what you do without all the other stuff that comes with it, all the other chaos. Um, like where I'm going to be in the next year or what team, all that stuff that gets in the mind of a player, you know?
Oh man, that's I never knew that about you actually. I knew that was called play free basketball, and I had an idea a bit, but I appreciate the story behind that. I do, and I love that, and that just resonates so much, not just with me, but just with the game of basketball, man. If you were to pitch something like that to like Phil Jackson, I'm sure he'd probably send you like 10 mil. Maybe
Oh
not that
man.
much. I don't know. You know what I mean? And just be like, well, of course. Someone like him would be like, like mindfulness and basketball. Of course, you need that, right? And the reason why I think that's just a beautiful thing was because for me, there's probably two areas that I can honestly and openly say that I feel the most authentic. Meaning like that's my world. Like I am ruler. And not where that's like, a big thing. It's just like that's exactly where I want to be at all times. And that's number one is dancing for sure on the dance floor. And number two is on the court, man. As soon as and it was before when, as soon as I started tying up my laces, I was going over the moves of who I was going to deke out. You know what I'm saying? Who was going to guard me? Nobody going to guard me today. And if this person guard me, this is what I'm going to do. If this person going to guard me, it's this one I'm going to do. I was just going through those motions. I was smelling the basketball. I'm smelling the leather and the pavement combined with the leather of the basketball. Beautiful, right? Like that's the things. Those are the things that I loved about the game, about being put in that state of mindfulness. And that's what I think and maybe you can give your opinion too about the state of how kids, younger than us coming up, are, it's like to say that they don't really like they don't have that same love for the game that I did. And in my naivete, when I grew up, I thought, bro, everybody else cried after they lose a game. Because I did.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I did. I'd be like, fuck. You know what I mean? I'd be mad upset. and nobody else was, right? And I had to learn that, not everybody's that passionate. So how do you think these kids are with the game these days?
It's a tough thing, man. I feel like as we progress the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years,
Damn.
everything that we're talking about, like getting into your physical senses, getting into your body, getting out of your head,
Yeah, yeah.
going to be even more important, because you see how, like, even just someone's attention to focus. Like, I look at my phone every, whatever, every minute, 2 minutes. Like, younger people are so dialed into technology and distracted. Um, it's I feel for them because it's just what they've grown up in, but they need some guidance. They need some
Mhm.
people to bring it back to how do you get still? Like, so many athletes have a hard time just getting still and sitting for 5 minutes or 10 minutes even without doing anything at all.
I
Just
challenge anybody, as a matter of fact, to just be still. Actually, that was even for me, even throughout this podcast, I'm like moving, like I'm just vibrating, right? I have such a constant state of like doing. I got to remind myself just to be sometimes, right? Like just to
but
be.
I'd say, but the one thing I would tell you, bro, like what we're doing right now,
Yeah,
like you and me right now, in a way, we're practicing stillness. Like, we are connecting at a very high level, and we are just here.
present.
Like that's it, and I just don't see that. Like, I see the trend of people having a really hard time. Like, even like everything's based on convenience with technology. Like, how you date, everything's on. A lot of people are just doing online dating. Like, there's very few guys out there, going back to the men's work stuff,
Yeah.
that are confident enough just to approach somebody and say what's up and just connect with somebody. Like, that's the road we're going through, or going to, you know.
There's actually probably been 90% of the guys that I talk to a lot of guys, a lot of men, all on online dating, all of
Mhm.
them. And me, I'm on none of them. I don't like them. I don't like them. I don't, first of all, I don't like upfrontness, right? I like to look at if it's a dating, right? If I like to look at a woman's face, right? I wanted to see her eyes. I want to see her smile, that she got all her teeth. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's matters, man. Like all that stuff matters to me. Like how her voice sounds,
Mhm.
how do those vibrations make me feel? I can't get any of that online. And that gives me anxiety. I can't do that online, right? You have to be sneaky and you got to find ways to do that. And you got to respond a certain way at a certain time. You know what I mean? And it's just like, throw it away. Throw it away.
Like, I have it, but it's also not something that I exclusively lean on. Like, I need
How do
to
you
just do
get through it,
online dating.
bro?
Bro,
Like
I literally look
how do
at it
you
once a day, if that. Like, I'll and again, for me, is if someone's being like pretty receptive and, being assertive with how they're communicating with me,
yeah.
I'll go for it, right? But I need to have some sense of
Hmm.
they're chasing me a bit on
And you
there. I'm
can't have
not
that if you're not
to,
in mindful, right?
yeah, I'm not gonna over pursue it or get attached. It's just a game. It's just another game that, you can play if you want to, and some people don't want to play it, and I totally get it.
Well, actually I think you just hit it on the money, because I think that's the reason why I don't like it, is because if you're going to use, online dating, I think maybe it should be more of your approach, more of like no expectations, just flow with it.
Totally.
Don't give too much of your time and attention, right? And your energy, right? Because how can you in that manner? Um, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if I mean that's actually I'm gonna start telling guys a lot of that, because a lot of guys are having a lot of trouble with that, a lot of challenges, because they don't know if the woman is being authentic, if the partner is being authentic. And a lot of times, they'll show up for these things, and sometimes they'll be left
You
out in the dark. And
you got it. Part of it too, I think, is
my bad.
you have to test them a bit. Like, in
Yeah,
terms of receptiveness, I what I like to do is I get on phone calls with 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 the girl before we even go on a date, because
right on.
I don't have unlimited resources, so time, energy, money, whatever, to just go out and see somebody. Even if their profile is attractive and I'm vibing with it, I'm still going to test you to make sure that
Mhm.
this is worthwhile of my time and energy. And I think the phone call has been super helpful.
That's super helpful, actually. Yeah, I might have to use that one. For me, I personally, I swore off dating. So, and just completely swore off. And this is what I mean by that is I don't, ask out. I don't approach women and ask them out. That's just not something that I do anymore. If there's a woman that shows genuine interest, and that's another thing too. Like I don't, I really don't want to waste my fucking time, bro. So I would rather be with somebody who wants to be with me. I don't want to play the rigmarole. So if I do see a woman that has genuine interest, immediately I go into something that I like. So it's going to be, music related, dance related, something that involves, actually with men's work. It's going to be involving my dog going for a walk. It's going to be whatever, something like that, right? It's going to be reading a book. You know what I mean? Something that's going to be like, if this is going to be what it's going to be, then I want to give her a preview of what the relationship's going to be like. In most cases, bro, as soon as she kind of gets a preview of that, she's gone. She's running for the hills. So to me, it just means that that's not the energy that I need, you know?
She's running. Why is she running for the hills, you think?
Oh,
With
totally. I think it's because I'm not going to chase. I'm not going to be your entertainment when you're bored. I'm not your daddy. I'm not your brother, your big brother, or your small or your, little brother. I'm your man. I'm your man. 100%. I'm your lead. And then that's something that she needs to understand. And I know that sounds the way that it sounds, but I really don't care. You know my story, and you know probably a little bit of why I'm so serious about that when it comes to relationships, right? Um,
what it's to me, what it sounds like is it's boundaries, right? You've established your boundaries.
yeah, bro.
You know
Yeah.
what you want, and you're not going to settle for anything less, right? Because you have a vision for yourself and your life. So
Yeah, bro. Yeah, you hit it right on the nail. It's boundaries. There's certain principles that I will discuss. There's other principles will not compromise. I'm
mhm.
40 years old now. I'm not gonna sit down with somebody who's 19 and tell them why I am the way that I am. No, you're just gonna follow my lead. You're not gonna ask silly questions, right? You're just gonna know that I know better. I need somebody with that attitude. And that a lot of times sounds and looks submissive, right? Which is, yeah, that's exactly what I need. Somebody who has the ability to put themselves in an energy of there's four things that I find men resonate. It's peace, purpose, provision, protection. Okay? Those things. Men, peace is important to them. Purpose is important to them. Protection, having something to protect is important to them. Why are we all looking towards having our own business, right? And something that we're passionate about. And then providing. You want to provide something. That's king energy. That's being a blessing. That's generating something for the rest, for others, providing something. This is important to all men. And I want her to have a sneak peek of how important that is for me. And she's actually in an interview, right? Like she's doing, she's at an audition. How are you going to enhance that for me? How are you going to make that happier for me? Because guess what? If I'm have more peace, more purpose, more protection, more provision, if I'm in that energy more, guess who benefits from that? She does. She gets to explore more. She gets to have more. She gets to experience more. And what woman doesn't want to have more, experience more, explore more? Which one? Point her out. Do you know what I mean? So, bro, I think there's something to be said about your little business there, because I'm not even your student in it. You know what I mean? You're taking me to school. uh, that's wicked, man. That's deadly. What is it that you're doing now with it? Like, what's something that where do you want to take this, brother? Like what do you want to be known for?
what like right now, man, I'm just trying to get my systems established
Hmm.
where I eliminate as much friction as I can. So when I take somebody on, they feel supported. They feel like they know exactly what they need to do. Here are the
Yeah.
steps you need to take. And ultimately, I want to see this grow to 150, 200 members that we're managing year round, right? And supporting them again from the mindfulness space, being intentional, giving them a space to be vulnerable, having somebody that can help hold them accountable to everything that they're saying, all the intentions that they set early on with the programming.
Mm.
So a lot of it is, we say, like, the responsibility is on the athlete. Like, if you really want to get better, you want to do the work, we have all the tools for you to do it.
Right.
We have
You've done
course.
the work.
Yeah, yeah. And it's been really cool, man. Like, I feel like we are giving people the tools. People are, consistently taking action, sharing where they're getting small wins. And it's cool too, man. Like, I got to thank you and give you a shout out too, because it's,
Mm.
what you and Jordan are doing with the men's groups really inspired me, because essentially what I'm doing is, we have female athletes within the program, but male and female, we are running group work. Like, we have a group today that meets,
Nice, bro.
that does a check-in, that shares small wins, shares their challenges. And
How
what I'm
old is this group?
what I'm trying to communicate to you is that, just you guys really inspired me to do that. I'm like, dude, I want to be a facilitator. Like,
Fuck
I want
yeah,
to
bro.
it feels so cool to be a part of it, and I can feel the impact that you're having on me.
Totally.
I want to do the same for other people.
100%. That's exactly why we do it, man. Like there's a lot of men. That's what I want to create for Promethean. Like I wanted to ask quickly before I forget. So if I want, for those listening too and those interested, so if somebody wanted to become a client, for example, so you're not, I'm going to compare it to personal training. So if I had a client, if you're my client, I'd see you 3, 4 times a week, kind of a thing. And then we go over, whatever goal it is that you need to reach to. Is that kind of the same, or do you have like a syllabus, like week 1, week 2, month 1, month 2? Is that more what it's
Well,
like?
the first thing that we do is, we make sure that you're a good fit for the program. So we
Cool.
get on a we get on a on a call after you fill out an intake form.
Nice.
And if we feel that the person's right for this, right? Because it is, as you know, if you want to really get better at anything, there's got to be a time commitment. There's got to be a financial commitment.
Totally.
And if they're ready to do that, then we go for it that way. And then what happens is, once they become a member, we have a bunch of course curriculum content that they go
Mm-hmm.
through and they share within our community. And on top of that, then we get on the group call every Sunday. We get on court once a week. And then they get one-on-one calls once a week.
Sounds like a
Um,
school, bro. Sounds like
hey
a
man,
university, like an academy.
bro,
I said it. Hell yeah, I said it.
it's a movement, man. We're trying to shift. I feel like we're trying to help people become more conscious about how they're living and how they're, acting in the world. And I feel like, definitely, you could call it a school. It's
Well, I hope
something I'm
so.
really proud of, bro. I feel aligned. Like, I just feel like this is it for me.
Well,
I've said to my brother a few times, bro, like, I will literally die in the street and become homeless if I need to, until this works out. Like, I am giving it my spirit, my soul, my mind, my body, everything is going into this, right?
okay.
So it
Fuck yeah,
is,
man.
yeah.
That's how it should be, man. That's how it should be. And that's powerful, man. And I think that's, if any message we can relate to other men is that, man, it's kind of just to do that, because you have your vision, your dream. Not everybody knows it and sees it. Once in a while, you'll meet somebody crazy like me who will have an idea of it, right? But I wanted to call it a school, right? I want that to reach out and to vibrate out there, because that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like somebody like, because if you're being an athlete, that's something that you're missing, right? You're missing the cerebral, the psychological, the philosophical part of it, right? And any athlete who's top dog has that part. Your Michael Jordans, your Kobe Bryants, you know what I mean? They all have that philosophy. Even your coaches, your Steve Kerrs, your Phil Jacksons, right? Some of these men have excellent philosophies. So that's what it sounds like to me, like a school, where you can learn the skills, but I mean, if you don't have the mind first, the skills, I don't know, you know.
Yeah,
So
or
that's
even
awesome,
like
man.
what I found, dude, is have you really like for a player like yourself,
Yeah.
you put in all this time and all this physical energy into something, and you start to really develop yourself. Like those are the kind of people that I want to work with. Like
Yeah.
you can actually show me proof of you putting this in, because essentially when you get to that level, it's just like when you create your own business or you do anything, the world will test the shit out of you,
Oh,
to
totally.
see if you're really worthy of the opportunities that are going to come your way.
Yeah.
So that's what we're helping the athletes prepare for. Like, yo, you've got it physically. You've been putting in the time and the energy into this. But as you level up, as you get to that next level, whether it be college, pro, or just a level within yourself,
Right.
everybody's coming for you. And are you going to be ready for that?
Hmm. That sounds like a heck of a preparation, man. Where how can people get in touch with you, bro? Like if people want to get contact you to give them the spiel. Do you have a website? I'm not sure if you have one.
I have one, but I'm working on it. The best way to
Okay.
get in contact with me is on Instagram, and it's at play free b-ball.
At
And that's
Play Free B-Ball.
send me a DM, and we'll get connected.
Sure, man. Right
I
on.
appreciate you, man. This is, you know what, man? Like I talked about it.
Uh-huh.
I know you, and I feel like what you're doing,
Hmm.
like this podcast, it's so in line, with how things are going to work out, bro. Like you're perfect for this, and I really
You
enjoyed
think
this.
so?
Dude, I'm telling you, man, the way you hold
Appreciate it,
space,
bro.
the way you ask questions, and the attention that you're bringing to men's groups, this is going to be a game changer, bro. Like honestly, just keep plugging away and stay with it, because this is gonna blow up. Like from my heart, I'm telling you that. Like this is it.
Man,
This is it.
I want to acknowledge you. I want to highlight you too, and for that and for telling me that. Because to be honest, man, even myself, I don't hear that a lot. And it's really sad because even as much this men's work, I don't shut it off. This is every day for me. And there's a lot of men out there who they're so quiet and they're so shy and
Mhm.
reserved about speaking up and about even celebrating themselves, bro. And that's why I do it. That's why I get hyped up. It's because I want to celebrate that for them, and it's everything that I've done so far has been really positive, and I just feel like I need to do more. I need to get it out there. I need to Everybody's doing podcasts with these big honchos, everybody be doing podcasts with big names and stuff. And that's great, awesome. But what about us? Right? What about everybody? What about the man that doesn't want to speak out? That's the first man I want to interview, homie. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that man's got something to say. That man's got not only that, that man's got something that the big cat has to learn. I
Yeah.
guarantee that. And that's why I bring this podcast. It's funny that you say that because I was thinking, racking my brain, but like, what do I need to do? I need to somehow find a way to wake men up, just wake them the fuck up. And I had no idea how to go about that. And then, I think I gave, who was it? I asked to interview a retired, uh, a dude from the military. And then from there, like I stayed up probably from that interview for the rest of the night, like onto maybe 3 in the morning, learning about like how to work the YouTube shit and like podcasting and that and that. And I was like, where like I don't even know where this energy came from, right? And then I just started this. This was literally, bro, like a week ago. No line. Like you can look at the channel. I literally just started it. And you're like the second person on this. And I just went for it, right? Because I want to have you. I want to have you again. You know what I mean? When you have 40 clients, when you have 100 clients, bro, when you actually have your name on the motherfucking school board. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's what I want, bro. So and a billion Promethean men. You're one of them. I'm one
Like,
of them.
yeah, man.
We need 1 billion
This
more.
this is the platform, bro. Like straight up, this is the platform for you to just break through and go for it. I feel it.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're doing it, bro. I'm doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, man.
You know what? I appreciate you, bro. I love this a lot. It was technically, for those that don't know, literally spur of the moment. I asked you a couple of days ago, and you agreed to pop on. So I appreciate you a lot. I definitely want to do this again.
Yeah, man.
You know, you let people know where we can reach you, and in the meantime, um, maybe give us one last message that you have for men out there, bro.
Last message, I'd say, I think it's what I told you, man. I think we just a lot of times there's stuff that comes up as you start to go for it, and the biggest thing that we need to do is stay with it, man. You just have to stay with it. Have dudes in your corner that you can lean on to when it does get challenging, and the work that you're doing.
Mhm.
But man, I just feel in my heart, bro, like once you get clear on your vision and what you want to do, and you can eliminate some of the friction and some of the extra clutter that comes up sometimes, yo, just take action. Like there's only one variable that we need to focus on, and it's speed. Either I need to go faster or I need to slow down. That's
Hmm.
it.
It's deadly, bro. That's a
Like
hell of a message.
all the thinking and all that other stuff, man. That's not it. That's not it. We don't need to think as much as we think we need to. It's too heavy. Just go for it. Take action. Take steps. And that's what you're doing. That's what I'm doing. And that's really, bro, why I wanted to get on this with you and take a shot here.
I
This is
love it,
it.
man.
Yeah.
I love it. That's like Qui-Gon Jinn style. Do you need to slow up? Do you need to speed up? Right? You just need to be up, you know? I love it. I love it. Beautiful, man. Appreciate you. Let's do this again for sure. And stay healthy, man. Stay healthy out there. It's nasty out there in Winnipeg, just like Saskatchewan, bro.
Right on, brother.
Okay.
Do yourself,
Take
man.
care, eh?
Yep.
Thanks.